Hey guys, I've been. It's all over now for today. Had a pint at the old Black Swan, which is our social hub, I think. And I'm here with Jamie Atkinson. And
hey,
Jamie, you did a talk, didn't you?
I did indeed.
And so this is a speaker from the conference, Jamie.
It is.
But you have a YouTube channel, don't you?
I do. It's called Expedition Dogman, where we look at the scientific principles behind the cryptid creature.
Right. Yeah.
And the talk I did today was called "Werewolves Are Not What You Think," which was actually, funnily enough, the second ever video I put onto YouTube back in July last year.
Yeah, the dogmen, because I'm familiar with werewolves and dogmen, but like many of these things you see in Hollywood, over the coming years I've realised there is actually some reality behind a lot of these things you see in the movies.
There is, but it's a very psychological explanation I'm going to give you about it.
Sure.
Hollywood have got 2 and 2, and as we know, 2 and 2 is normally 4. They've come out with 6.
All right.
So what they've done is they've got a picture of a dogman, and they've got hold of a mental disorder which is known as clinical lycanthropy. Now, lycanthropy is a terminology known as werewolfism. I can't remember why it's outside, but yeah, werewolf is the other word for it.
I thought lycanthropy just meant being a werewolf, turning into a wolf.
Yeah,
things like that.
but it's more of a mental thing, because it does happen on the full moon, but instead of physically changing, you get the pains of changing, you go through the actions of changing, but you don't physically change, but your brain believes you do.
All right.
So what they did is they thought, oh, if we mix up this dogman wolf walking creature, we can exaggerate it. And this first happened in Universal Studio in 1935, when they came out with American Werewolf in London.
In 1935?
1935.
I thought that was a John Landis film from, I think, 75 or 77 or something.
No, the original was 1935.
All right, I didn't realise it was a remake.
I did a lot of study through werewolves and modern culture through the History Channel, and that's what they're saying, which is more or less accurate because they'll have it from direct sources.
I'll have to watch the original now because I'm a big fan of the John Landis film.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch the original.
So, as we know with Hollywood, they like to exaggerate things out of proportion.
Oh, yes.
And the problem is, moving on from the 30s onwards, people were going to the cinema, they were watching things on TV, so it's implanted into their brain. So you got a thing called programming.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So, if we was walking down the road now, and we saw a dogman across the road hypothetically, which could possibly happen.
Yeah. Keep a lookout, I've got the camera on just in case.
You never know. Our brain would automatically go, shit, that's a werewolf. Because that's what we've seen over the years.
It's like a half dog, half wolf, half man.
Half wolf, yeah.
A humanoid cane is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's actually a cryptid creature, and that was the essence of my talk, really.
No, it's not actually a human who's turned into a wolf.
No, this is a real flesh and blood cryptid creature.
Let's go slightly ahead of you, just so I can still record you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's a real life cryptid creature, just like Bigfoot, and it's been on this planet as long as Bigfoot has.
But how does it stay hidden? I mean, if this obviously because
they live in the trees. If you spin the camera around, you've got tree lines.
Yeah, tree lines.
Now, this cryptid is an apex predator. Yes.
Okay, top of the food chain.
I'm sorry to tell everybody on YouTube right now, we are not top of the food chain, so please don't go around panicking.
I'll try not to, but it is.
Try not to.
Yeah.
We are not the top of the food chain.
No.
We like to think we are, but we're not.
Yeah.
And if you go onto my channel, there's a lot of information about all this. But what would an apex predator do to get the lay of the land and stay hidden? It'd go into the trees.
Yeah. If you get good for you, you're hidden.
Does exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
They live in the trees.
It's you can see for a long way. Also, you're pretty much hidden, especially in the summer when there's leaves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the fur is more or less, due to the trick of the light, camouflaging into the leaves. So literally, if you've all seen the film Predator...
Yeah, that's good, where he has an invisibility cloak.
No, it's not an invisibility cloak. He's still physically there, he's got some sort of technology on him that bends the light around him.
Yeah.
So it makes him look as though he's invisible. It's a trick of the mind.
I see, because the military are working on things like that right now
Yes.
for camouflage. Quasar crystals. Yeah.
Now, Bigfoot and Dogmen have this ability built into their fur.
Oh, blimey, yeah. So it's like a natural
It's
quasi
natural
crystals.
for them, yeah. Because
Wow.
they've evolved with that over the years
Yeah.
to remain hidden from us.
I see.
Yeah, that's basically about it with that sort of technology. And it's how they remain hidden.
Because I mean, the number of reports of like dog humanoid creatures is incredible. I mean, they're all over the place.
They're all
You
over
put up
the
a
world.
map. You put a map, and North America has like so many. You couldn't even
That's
see
the
them.
thing, North America, the reason there's more over there is due to the government.
You mentioned
Now-
it was a cover-up.
It is. Now, I don't want your channel to get banned or anything
No, not good.
considering YouTube
We were
is
banned years ago,
actually
maybe.
American,
Yeah.
but the American government are breeding these creatures because they're using them for military purposes.
Oh, really? So rather like they
Yes.
use fierce dogs, they're also using
They're
these dog
using
men.
what they term as werewolves
Oh, blimey,
to
yeah.
fight on the front lines. Now, not all of these dog men are behaving like the government want them to, and these are the ones that are getting released into the national parks.
Bloody heck.
So if you look at the land between the lakes, that is their main dumping ground.
Between the lakes, is that the Great
Land,
Lakes?
land between the lakes, it's called. It's
Right.
also known as the LBL. If you look at Kentucky, it's
Yeah.
around that area.
Kentucky. There's land between lakes, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
If you just type into Google or into Google Maps, land between the lakes, it'll come up.
I see. Yeah, so,
And this is their main dumping ground, but it's also a major breeding ground for dogmen because dogmen migrate from Mexico all the way through America. There's different breeding grounds. It's the same with Bigfoot. They've got their own breeding grounds across America, and then they continue up into the Canadian Peninsula, where there's a massive ice sheet that runs between Canada and Russia.
yeah,
which is
the
about-
polar ice sheet, yeah.
That's
The
the
North
one.
Pole.
And according to a good source of man in America, this is how the dogmen are getting to Europe.
I see.
They're going up through Canada and they're pelting it across this ice sheet in a day.
Blimey. And then they can
And then
get,
coming
yeah.
down.
It is possible to walk from
It's possible
from
to
North
walk.
America to Siberia for most of the year because of the sea ice.
Yes.
That's right.
And this is how these things are travelling around the world. Also, like Richard Freeman said about there being Bigfoot that's real and the paranormal, it's highly possible it's the same with dogmen, that certain types of species have evolved so far to interdimensionally jump,
Alright, so they can move from.
which would be more of a case with the ones of the Native American folklore.
Exactly, they can disappear.
Pretty
And
much.
a lot
the Beast of
of
Bray
them-
Road is a perfect example.
The Beast of
Bray Road.
Braid Road. What's that? What does that do? What did it do? What?
It didn't really do anything. It's a strange one. I'll tell you the bloody story of the LBL in a minute, but
Okay, mate, yeah.
the Beast of Bray Road, it's a guardian of the Native American cemeteries. It's never attacked anybody, but it's chased people and ran alongside cars. Obviously it's mutilated wildlife, but it's a food source.
Yeah.
It's class it's going to do that. But
You mentioned there were
the
different.
reporter who found it and started asking around, she got a map of the area and pinpointed with little pins where the people were seeing this creature, and every pin was more or less around a Native American cemetery
That's interesting.
near
isn't
their
it?
mounds, which is very interesting. And she dug back into Native American folklore, and there were stories of dog-headed creatures as well as Sasquatch.
That's strange, isn't it? Because like.
So
yeah.
if you look at the early modern history of dogmen, you can pinpoint them back to there. Whereas in ancient history, the earliest recordings is ancient Egypt and ancient Greece.
Well, there's like Anubis. There's actually a
Indeed,
deity
yes.
which at the head of a jackal, body of a man. I mean, there's cave paintings with the therianthropes, they're called, therianthropes,
That's one.
which include like human bodies, animal heads,
Yeah.
I think of all kinds. I mean, not just wolves, but all kinds. This is like many of these paranormal or supernatural phenomena or cryptozoological phenomena. They go back a long way into prehistory, and people have been encountering them.
Centuries.
Yeah.
Thousands of years.
Well, you reckon
Well,
you
if
said
we
they've probably
look
been here
at-
long before we were. They're the original
I think they were.
inhabitants.
I do. I was just going to come on to that.
Sorry,
if you look
carry
at
on.
the original inhabitants of this planet, Bigfoot and Dogmen are the most likely candidates, because if you look at Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, there's a missing link.
Yeah, he called it that. Yeah, he realised his theory was incomplete.
Now, there's a perfect image on Google where it shows humans coming up like this apparently, but there's a link missing to where they're straightened out fully.
Yeah.
This is where the Anunnaki come involved.
Are they those who came from heaven to earth? Yeah.
Yes.
The Sumerian myth.
From the heavens, is
Yeah,
the actual terminology,
heavens.
not from heaven.
In other, other
From
worlds.
the heavens, i.e. the stars. And this is also to do with the Mayans. It's roughly all around that era. But when they got listening to history, it was due to the Hebrews.
Right. Yeah.
And if you look at the Hebrew Bible, in the original Hebrew text, you've got the word Elohim.
Yes, with
Now-
I am on the end. Yeah.
Him in Hebrew is plural.
Yes, right. Like in words like cherubim, seraphim, it has an I am on
Exactly.
the end. The same way English puts an S on the end of the word to form a plural.
Exactly.
Hebrew just puts I am. That's
So,
right.
if you look at a modern day Bible, it says God created man in his image.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the singular translation. The original translation, this is going to blow your mind wide open. Let's create man in our
Yeah.
image. Our is plural.
Plural. Yeah.
That means the Anunnaki are the most likely candidates for creating the human being.
Do you believe?
So what I honestly believe they did was they got DNA from Bigfoot, because we do share similarities to Bigfoot. So that's the likely candidate where they got part of the gene seed from. Then they took the gene seed out of themselves, because if you look at a picture of an Anunnaki, they're very similar. Pardon me? They're very similar to a human being.
They are.
The
They.
likeliness of them is.
Do you think there's some interbreeding? Because in Genesis chapter
Yes.
12, they say that the Elohim came down to earth, saw the daughters of men, saw that they were fair, took of them many wives, who gave them many heirs, and those
Yes.
heirs became the wise men of renown.
Yes. So if you look at that passage that Ben has just said, what they did was they intersected the gene seeds from both. They took the gene seed from Bigfoot, the gene seed from themselves, and interbred.
And it implies that this hybrid race became the elite bloodlines. You know, the wise men of renown,
Yes.
the kings,
And if you
emperors.
look further into the Holy Bible as well, you've got St. Christopher. Now, St. Christopher originally was a dog-human hybrid.
All right, because he carried Jesus across the water, didn't he?
Apparently so, yes.
He's the patron saint of travellers. You have a St. Christopher.
Yes.
Take St. Christopher medallion with you if you go on a journey.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
St. Christopher was actually a dog-headed human. And he was only granted his human form when he fully believed in Jesus.
All right.
Also, if you look at ancient Greek mythology, you've got King Lycan.
Lycan as in Lyco.
Lycan,
Yeah.
Lycanthrope.
Wolves, yeah.
Now, King Lycan, he upset Zeus. I think he served him the wrong type of food. It was something like that. It was something to do with food. And it was spoiled. So Zeus decided to lay a curse on him.
Right.
That he would spend the rest of his days as a wolf. But he would be allowed to walk around on his hind legs.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
Yeah.
The original, according to the Greek mythology,
It's the original kind of werewolf like creature, or dog man.
yes. Whereas Anubis is ancient Egypt. Both of these gods, if you look at the ancient gods of Rome, Norway, Greece, Egypt, they all have different names, but they're all the same image.
It's the same physical form, isn't it?
Yeah, same form, different names.
Yeah, it's worth considering. If you think we're talking nonsense, ask how so many different, how many different cultures come up with the same image? The same image, cultures that never had any connection to each other, cultures that are very
Same
different.
image of the same gods. These gods were not from this planet. They were not from the heavens. They were from a different dimension.
Yeah.
They visited different countries at the same time they was here. This is the point we're trying to get at. So as they're visiting different countries, they're getting different names.
Yeah.
It's
According to the local name, the local language.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling stuff, but it's the theory that makes the most sense of the origins of the human race, but also the origins of the Dogman.
It's well, that's a big locked gate. I wonder what's behind there. Looks a bit sinister, doesn't it? Very Illuminati, that, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. Let's not get we started on the Illuminati.
I don't think you viewers can see this. Actually, it may not be visible to you. There's a big locked gate with barbed wires.
Yeah, let's not get started on the Illuminati tonight. That's another subject.
I know what you mean. There's too much to talk about, but it's interesting that you mentioned there were 3 types of dogmen. Well, what are the 3 different types?
You've got the Type 3 canine type, which is the amber eyes. For those of you in England who know Barmston Drain, you've got the Beast of Barmston Drain. It's a wolf-like creature that had amber eyes. This is exactly how it was reported. If you look throughout the majority of Dogman reports, the amber eyes are very significant. This is a Type 3 Dogman. Then you've got the more human looking Dogman. This is generally known as your Type 9. It's got more humanoid legs, whereas the Type 3 has more canine legs.
Yeah.
Then you've got reports of some looking like jackals, some looking like hyenas, some, like Richard's friend said, have a baboon face. All of these are very aggressive. If you step onto their territory, if they're not hungry, rather than killing you, they will play sadistic games.
Oh dear.
They will happily scare you for the fun of it, just because they can. If you're hiding in your car, shit, there's a Dogman, it will happily walk up, grin at you, showing all its fangs, and start tapping on your window.
Oh my God.
Just to say, I'm here.
That's
What are you going to do about it? These are the type of games they will play.
Making people very scared, or
Very much so,
or animals.
yeah.
It's to do with, they often get some sustenance and that through adrenochrome or through psychic energy.
Yes.
And see whether,
Yes, they do.
they have to actually drink your blood to get their adrenochrome, but they can get
I don't know
psychic
if they
spear off
actually
that.
do drink your blood as such, but they will happily kill you if they're hungry. If there's no other food source around,
Yeah.
they will think nothing about eating a human.
That's
And
it,
this is why we're going back to the point of we are not the top predator on this planet.
Exactly, yeah.
Bigfoot and Dogmen will quite happily eat a human if they so want to.
Yeah.
And the reason I keep bringing Bigfoot up is because there's a lot of similarities in behavioural patterns with both of these cryptids. Yes, obviously one's an ape, one's a canine. I know you're going to get that in the comments. Oh, wait a minute, Dogmen are canine! Yeah, they are. But these creatures have inhabited the wild side by side since the beginning of time. So, of course, behavioural patterns will be similar.
Yeah.
Yes, there's differences, as we all know, but there will be similarities between the pair of them.
I suppose that's true, yeah, that's true. I know what you mean. It's interesting, yeah. I mean, I'll keep my eye out for things. I mean, it's a bit spooky. I'm glad I'm not alone walking along here, actually, because it's actually pretty spooky when there's no cars around, and traffic's intermittent tonight, as you can see.
It's quite quiet.
It's quiet and it's
Plane
darkness
coming
on
into the airport. If you look over there.
some landing lights over there, yeah.
Landing lights coming into Manchester Airport. By
Yeah.
the looks of it.
And when you go sky watching, looking for UFOs, you soon spot things like that.
Yeah.
And you learn the difference between what's normal in the sky and what's unusual. But you know, I'm walking along here. Whenever you get these malevolent phenomena.
Lift your camera up here a second. Something could easily be hiding in this tree line
Yeah,
without us knowing it.
yeah, that's it. I know what you mean. It's what's I suppose like the phenomena, like,
around here.
yeah, whenever there are like malevolent phenomena of any kind, where it's cryptozoological or just paranormal,
You get the sense of foreboding, you get the
Yeah.
negative feelings.
the people who disappear in huge numbers.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you know how
that's
many
it.
people bloody disappear? It's unbelievable.
Quite a few. Now, that's interesting that the disappearing. In
I mean,
America,
they always pick on people walking alone at night. Have you noticed
Oh, yeah,
that
they
in
do.
remote areas like we're doing right now?
exactly, we could easily be picked off tonight if we
Yeah,
got
if they want to do
search
it, we'd be on the top of their list,
Well, we would.
or close to the top. I mean, we're on a big
Close
road.
to the top, yes, but if you look in America, the amount of people that go missing in the national parks for no reason,
Yeah,
bodies that are never found.
yeah,
As we know, within the national parks of America, these are cryptid hotspots.
yeah. Sometimes they're found like weeks later
Useless.
in places that have already been searched 3 times. You know, things like that. David Paulides and his missing 411 films worth seeing. Very disturbing to watch.
Very disturbing, but the question is then, why are they picking them off in the woods?
Yeah,
Food source.
yeah. I suppose that's it. If you were like every other game animal, you know, you're there to, and they will
Yes.
take you. And
Think about it.
yeah.
There's
Other
the
predators, known
reason-
predators, do. Cougars and bears do them, known predators. So
If
why
you
not unknown
look-
ones?
At our eyes, yeah? We don't have predator eyes. We can only see what's in front of us and a certain peripheral vision.
Yeah,
Exactly the same as horses and other prey animals, their eyes can see a certain way.
yeah.
Whereas if you look at an eagle, they can see more or less 360 around them.
They
Why
can
is
also,
that?
They can
Because
also,
an eagle
yeah.
is a predator.
They can also, yeah, they can see things at great distances. They very sharp eyes. They could see like things that we can't. Like they could see like a fly crawling on the wall over there, you know, the house. You know, really very, very good eyesight.
Yes. Why is that? Because they're a predator.
Yeah.
Why can't humans see it? I think there's only one answer to that question.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I will let you decide that for yourself.
Oh, well, the battery's nearly flat now, I think, because we can't do much more filming on this journey. But so let the viewers know about you, Jamie, because you're.
Yes.
It's say your YouTube channel again.
Expedition Dogman.
Expedition Dogman. Remember, think of Expedition Bigfoot, but put Dogman instead of Bigfoot.
Dogman instead.
Well, thank you very much for letting us. Thanks very much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your very interesting talk at the Weird Weekend North
You're
2022.
very welcome.